stillness is a declaration of trust. When you do practice that stillness, like you're showing the trillions of cells in our body, you're saying like, I trust you. You know, I trust you enough to sit with you here, to give you a moment of my love and attention. And I know that you're right here taking care of me. Stillness is a declaration of trust. So I had to go to this event this morning and I was in a hurry, but I was listening to a video while I was on the way there that really, the guy, he's one of my favorite YouTube channel creators. He said, you can feel the pain of the world and still choose to project love. And I thought that was so beautiful. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And it reminded me of, I work at a restaurant, I'm a server at a restaurant, and I've been there for a while, so I train a lot of the new servers that are coming on. And this older lady, she's about probably in her 60s, love her to death, she is so sweet. She had her first day out on the floor this past Friday. She was out on her own. And this one table, who I have served once before, always just incredibly rude for no good reason. These types of people I categorize as the born angry category. It's just, there's something always wrong. And, you know, this person, like when I first met them, first served them, I usually have a way of sweetening people up, softening people up. So they weren't incredibly rude to me, but with this new server, the way that they ordered was confusing to her. Like, I honestly would have messed up their order if they would have said what they said to her. And they were so mean, and I could see this like anger projecting. Like this new server was taking on, you know, her shoulders were slumped, she was looking stressed, and I went up to her and I was like, don't you dare let them dim your light. I said, misery loves company. I was like, when you go to that table, she needs your light. Like, shine bright, because, you know, again, misery loves company. It will always try to, I always think of this negative energy, I always think of it like a hand projecting onto my throat and trying to pull me down into the darkness. And before I was like very aware of how this energy was being pushed onto me, I would get pulled down into that darkness. And so, you know, I try to, if I see that happening with the new servers or really with anyone around me, like I always go up to them and I remind them, like, you know, misery loves company. Don't give them what they want. You know, that darkness wants to bring out the darkness within you, and you just show it your light, show it extra light. And it reminded me of that quote this morning. You can feel the pain of the world. Like I felt that pain within that lady who was so angry and rude, and still choose to project love. Like you are just a ball of light. You're a lighthouse. Like people are unconsciously angry. That lady, like she was born angry. I don't know what happened. I don't know. People get addicted to anger. They get addicted to negativity, to stress. It's very common because it's easy to do so. And it's harder to be in a place of kindness and anger. It takes extra energy. And a lot of times we're very depleted. We're in that darkness phase. I've made videos about dementia and divorce, and how in our biochemistry we are chronically divorced from ourselves through this insulin resistance. Like we are literally sitting in the dark watching these chronic diseases rampage over, you know, all of us. Prediabetes, high levels of cortisol, high levels of inflammation, muscle loss, weight gain in the midsection. You know, we lose ourselves and we become addicted to what's easy, and what's easy sometimes is the darkness. Like sometimes, you know, you walk outside in the morning, it's kind of like being hungover. It's like you have this resistance to the light, like, oh my gosh, it is so bright. Why do you have to be so bright? You know, you're addicted to negativity when you could say, wow, the sun, the creator, the life giver to everything beautiful on this earth, my light sensitivity, my insulin sensitivity, like there's so much that happens within the light, you know. So you have two choices. You can either shy away and always pretend that it's too much, or walk into the light and embrace it. Stay open to it, right? Like, it is very bright. Maybe you're very sensitive. Maybe you can't tolerate much of the sun. I went through this last year. I was very exhausted and drained, and going into the sun was like flaring up autoimmune stuff that I was experiencing. So going into the sun during these gentler hours, like the morning and at night, it's you can practice opening up to the sun and receiving the benefits of the chemical energy of the sun, and also purifying the darkness within you. And then we're also embracing the darkness. So it's like, it's so contradictory. Like, we go into the sun and we're creating tons of melatonin. We're creating the darkness, this circadian rhythm in our biology. And it's so beautiful. So I loved that quote. Again, it was, let the world shape itself around you, I also saw this quote earlier today. It says, I don't worry about rotten fruit because they will always fall, It's like, let people be angry, or let them be negative, and that's okay. Like, sometimes I get frustrated when people are being negative, and it's like, I want to run away from them, like, or push them away, I'm like, it's exhausting to be around all this negative energy sometimes. And at the same time, like, I'm burning out my own wheels trying to escape it when I could just embrace it. And a lot of times, like, that's been a journey for me, is to just like with the sunlight, not holding a barrier and trying to push it and block it out, is also letting that negativity hit me deep in my bones, and almost letting it pass through me instead of like rejecting it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you at all, but this was a deep understanding for me in my first ayahuasca experience, which is like a very powerful psychedelic plant they call the vine of the dead. And it was to let all of the energy pass through inside me. Like, you don't have to be afraid of someone's darkness, because there's no amount of darkness in the world that can put out the light of a single flame. And a lot of the times you're just helping people cope with things that they don't know how to cope with. Like, okay, I know you're angry, I know you're frustrated, let me help you discharge some of this energy. And you don't have to take that on if you don't have the energy for it. This is why I really prioritize amino and fatty acids and getting in the sunlight, because right now a lot of people are projecting their anger and their frustration, their darkness, because it has nowhere else to go. And when you are sweet and light and bright, that darkness is looking for a lighthouse, it's looking for a place to expand itself, but stay sturdy, stay strong, and take that moment of peace and stillness. Declare the trust that you have with yourself every single morning. Declare that stillness and that inner peace, so that you know that the world is going to shape itself around you, so you don't easily fall into the chaos of others, Anyway, I will leave this here. Well, I guess I have my deck of love letters. I'll pick a few of this. Pick a few random ones from here. Nothing is random. That's what they say. I always talk about the scene in Benjamin Button. If this wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen. And I oftentimes think about all the times, like, if I find, I don't know, it could be like a penny on the ground, to be honest. I'm like, what are the odds? Anybody could have found this penny, but me, I found this penny. The first card is inflammation. Our thoughts and our inability to find that stillness feeds into this inflammation. And I've talked about this before with the brainwave states, but this high cortisol, high inflammatory state, this divorce state that we experience within the body, let me put these down, is in this high beta wave frequency. This is a brainwave state. So when we're experiencing a lot of stress, this could be like I've drinking too much caffeine, right? This is just like my stress response, and I'm unable to come back down and to get into more of these restorative states. So that's what a lot of times is inflammation is chaos at the cellular level. It's like your immune system is trying to put out the fires. So when it is trying to put out the fires, you have to think about this. My body is using more energy to help protect me and nurture me and love me. So when I'm looking at my foods, how do I need to feed my immune system? I want to get foods like we have talked about before. I have a chart up there. 911 nutrition, the amino and the fatty acids, like we have essential, which we're only going to get in decent amounts from the animal-based proteins. We have conditional and non-essential. These conditional and non-essential amino acids are so important for our immune function and our hormone function. So the more nutrition you can get in one source, this is why I'm biased to animal-based proteins, the better you have a chance of putting out these fires. And then also you're slowing down your respiratory rate in that meditative practice, getting into the sun and realizing you're in the right place at the right time always. You couldn't be anywhere else, and there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hurry off to. So physical and spiritual metabolism. Next card is stretch your hamstrings, especially if you got a tight back area. We tend to hold a lot of tension and tightness in our hips and our leg area. So you'd be amazed, like stretching your hamstrings will loosen up your entire system, changes your biochemistry. If you're changing your biochemistry, you're loosening everything up. You're loosening up that tension. Your energy is able to flow better through the entire system. And again, tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you truly are. Like, you deserve this. You deserve to have a relaxed body, have those relaxed glutes and lower back and hamstrings, And the last card is you're not alone. You're not alone. You're never alone. Like, even when you're in the room by yourself, like I'm in this room by myself right here, but I'm not alone. Never ever alone. Like, to be so limited in our senses, like we know so little about what's going on around us. That's what I love about the sunlight, is that we can see the sunlight. Like, we see the greenery of the grass, we see the blueness of the sky, but we also don't see like the infrared spectrum. The infrared spectrum of light is an invisible light spectrum. So like if you touch your forehead and you feel the heat, or you go into the sun, you're wearing a shirt, you can feel that heat against your shirt. That's infrared light. There's so much around us that we can't see. And all the trillions of our cells, like these are little bitty, these are entities. And we call these cells, like this is our animal cells, this is what our body's made of. They're called multicellular organisms. So within this one cell, there are other cells within here, like mitochondria have their own DNA, mitochondrial DNA. They are reflecting to our nuclear DNA. This is how I'm gonna actually decide that my biochemistry is gonna be from my mitochondria, more so my environment, than my nuclear DNA. Let's say like you have all these things that run in your familial DNA. You have cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, diabetes type 3, hypertension, like all these things, right? Running in your nuclear DNA. And you're like, well, hey, actually, I think I want to change my lifestyle. I think I want to embrace the light. I want to be a light worker. I want my mitochondria to do this reflection instead. I want to have a healthy body. I want to have, I want to feel good. I want to feel relaxed and calm. And, you can do that because, again, you're a multicellular organism. The coolest thing about mitochondria is that they can fuse themselves together, or they can create more of themselves. So it's like, you are truly amazing, like so amazing. One of my favorite exercises to boost mitochondrial function is walking. Like, walking is one of the best low-grade strength training exercises you could ever do in your entire life. What you're doing when you're walking is you're slowly building up the carbon dioxide, lactic acid levels in your body. Mitochondria, they love that. They love when you are producing this heat internally, when you're feeding them internally. Like, and again, walking, I love strength training, but if you're just beginning and you don't really know how to strength train too much, and you're going through more of an easeful time, walking is so good for helping these mitochondria, helping your cells build themselves up, clear the lactic acid, and feed yourself from an endogenous point of view. It's so beautiful. Like, what does that mean, endogenous? I'm feeding myself endogenously. So it's like, endogenous means inside. I am creating inside my body. Exogenous, on the outside, exiting, would be I'm intaking this in. A beautiful way to think about this. Okay, we build melatonin, we build amino acids and hormones and other things. We build our own blood sugar from the inside. Like, if I wake up in the morning, I have several options to break my fast. I can go into the sunlight, that's going to break my fast. I could drink caffeine, that's going to break my fast. I could exercise, that's going to break my fast. But normally, most of the time, we think, I only am going to break my fast if I'm eating. That's not true, because your body, we're kinetic beings. We can move and use and build energy through our own movement. You are amazing. You're so beautiful. One day, you're going to believe me when I tell you all this. You are so beautiful. It makes me want to cry. And then, so when I'm going to break my fast exogenously, I can intake food, right? Same thing with melatonin. My gut is going to produce a certain amount. My body's going to produce a certain amount. Let's say if I'm breaking down my muscle, right? I'm breaking down amino acids, and I can produce and use the amino acids that, it's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Or I can intake that tryptophan exogenously through my animal-based proteins and, get it that way. So it's so beautiful. We have so many options, right? We're similar to plants. We can do kinetic energy, movement, and then we can go sit in the sun just like our little plant friends and do photosynthesis. Basically, it's not exactly photosynthesis, but we can do chemical energy where our bodies are taking in. This is why our skin tans, we darken. This is why so many things happen in the light. We build vitamin D, build and synthesize vitamin D. It's so beautiful. We break down tryptophan. We break down our food when we go in the light. When you embrace the light, and I made a video yesterday, light exposure is your key to weight loss. Light exposure is your key to everything, Will you accept the simplicity? Will you accept this simple stillness, this place of peace? Like, I think about these little bitty elements that people always ask me about. What do you think about glutathione? What do you think of biotin? It's like, will you accept the simplicity? Our animal-based proteins, this is why I eat a carnivore diet. And what was confusing the other day was I was talking to somebody about how glutathione needs selenium. It's a building block of glutathione. So I went to go Google, is selenium a building block of glutathione? And it's confusing because, like, the internet will tell you, no, it's not a building block, but it is a cofactor. And that's the same thing with the B vitamins. Like, we have all of these, like, we have the central metabolism, and then in order for the central metabolism to, like, hit the gas, we need these cofactors, So it's like, yes, the selenium is absolutely critical to glutathione production. Glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body, in the cells, so they say. But we need all these micronutrients. Like, when you're eating, when you're looking at your diet, like, simplify it. Will you allow for the simplicity? Look at what a carnivore diet can do. Eating more red meat, eating eggs. Somebody the other day reached out to me, said, my doctor was shocked at my blood work. So I've been starting to eat eggs every day, and I've been starting to eat more red meat because I was anemic. It's like, this is so beautiful. And this is only one person who reached out to me, but if you go look at, like, people who are struggling with chronic diseases and autoimmune issues, like, you'll see the stories of how these diets have helped people heal and build strength. And the energetics have been, this is the craziest time. And when I say the energetics, like Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi, 5G, all this, that we've never been surrounded by this much cellular disturbance. Bluetooth headphones. We've never been surrounded by such heavy disturbance against the cell. And that's why we also see a rise in all of these chronic diseases as well. This is just cellular confusion. Our cells are confused. So make sure that you get in the light and that you're constantly filling yourself with the light, and also leaning into your melatonin and your darkness at night. So anyway, I shall leave this here. May you always be blessed with the clarity to know what is and what isn't meant for you. Question everything. Listen when your body says no. You don't need to know why. And when it says yes, that's your intuition, So the more you stay towards your immune function, the clearer your intuition will get. And don't question your body when it says no. You don't need to know. You just need to know that that is a guidance to you, and it's there to protect you and to help you grow. So you can like, share, and subscribe if this was helpful. But as always, I do wish you the best of luck.